Sounds good, doesn't it? It is, of course, the wonderful Porsche Cayman 718 GT4 RS, a phenomenal car, generating a lot of hype at the moment. That RS bit is very important. We're going to discuss what that's all about and one massive problem with this car. Yeah, it's a big problem. So, if you follow the channel at all, you'll know that we've had the 981 Cayman, courtesy of Martin, and recently put a short video together on the Cayman 718 GT4, courtesy of Mr. H Cars. And these cars are brilliant. It is a brilliant, wonderful stepping stone into that mid-engine ownership experience. And honestly, a very safe one too. I think these cars are going to be worth 70 grand forever. At least it certainly seems that way. The residuals on them are just bulletproof, and I think they're only going to continue to be strong, especially with the Cayman GT4 RS being introduced and what that's going to do for aftermarket prices. I just think it's going to keep the hype machine spinning along. So this video, I really want to focus on what that RS is all about and talk about that major problem, and it is a very big problem. So firstly, what is the GT4, and more importantly, what is the GT4 RS? So the GT4 is, of course, the Porsche Cayman. The most recent version of that is the 718, which has the flat six engine from the 911 in it, albeit not producing quite as much bhp. The RS version contains the full fat version from the GT3. So 4 litre flat six, producing 493 brake horsepower and 330 poundish foot of torque. So quite a lot. And what I want to do quickly is just look at tabs per tonne here. We've spoken about tabs per tonne before. If you remember this, well done. I've added the Cayman GT4 and the GT4 RS into the tabs per tonne table to see how they kind of stack rank against the other cars. And this tabs per tonne table is going to give you a pretty good feel for how fast a car is going to seem when you're out driving it, because it doesn't just take into consideration the bhp but also the weight and the torque, which are important factors to consider when you put these into the spreadsheet to get the feel for how fast that car is. So if we look at tabs per tonne, the Porsche Cayman 718 GT4 is coming in at 484 tabs per tonne, and the GT4 RS is 563 tabs per tonne. So what does that mean? Well, look where they sit. Kind of below where the 911 Turbo S is, the Taycan Turbo, the McLaren 570S, the 765 LT, obviously. So these cars are quick. They're going to be quick. The Cayman GT4 is a quick car, but I've been out in two of them now. It's not just about raw speed in these cars, and it's the same in the GT4 RS. It's quick, but you know, it's not insane quick. The bhp per tonne of the Cayman GT4 RS is about 338. And honestly, for a car to feel bonkers quick, that needs to be, in my book, up above 400, 450 even, for it to just really feel, you know, queasy quick. But that's not what the Cayman GT4 RS is all about. It's all about the experience, the rawness, and the way in which it goes about delivering its power. It does so with clinical precision, and that is the beauty of this car. The build quality is second to none. Okay, I can't speak about the GT4 RS. I can speak about GT4, being out in a couple of those now. You know the RS is going to be brilliant. And it's got some wonderful features that are just going to really help to sort of elevate it to that next level. Things like those air vents where the rear windows are, for the air intakes for the engine. So cool, and really going to add to the sound and that visceral experience. Also things like the center locking wheel nuts that is featured on the car. Such a cool design feature. The GT4 RS has upgraded suspension. It's got that full fat engine producing slightly less bhp, but the overall package is absolutely brilliant. Now the challenge that we've got with the GT4 RS, the price is wonderfully reasonable, 108,000 Great British pounds at list, which is, for what you get, absolutely nothing. Of course you can spec that up with the Weissach package and other optional extras, loads of carbon, whatever you want, and probably take it up to, you know, 150, which is still brilliant value for money when you look at what you pay for equivalent 911 models, and in terms of what you're getting with that mid-engine driving experience. One of the niggles that I do have with the Cayman GT4 is the gears. I think the gears are way too long. You can actually do 350 miles an hour in first gear in the Cayman GT4, at least it feels like that. I just think they're too long for the road. Appreciate it's a track car, but you know, when you want to really get the best out of that engine, you can expect or hope that the gear ratios are a bit lower, and there are companies that will tweak the ratios, lower them down so it's a bit more, you get to use all that power for the road, but the gear ratios are long on the manual version especially. GT4 RS only available with the DCT, Porsche's version of the dual clutch transmission, so that is going to add to that true race driving experience. A lot of purists will bemoan the lack of manual options. I don't think it's going to bother. I mean, you always get into this discussion about it's not a true driver's car if it's a manual. Well, honestly, I think, you know, having owned manuals and having then got into dual clutch cars, I prefer the dual clutch. I just think it provides you with the ability to tweak the gears much faster and really focus your feet on the accelerator and the brake pedal with left foot braking, which is exactly where you need to be to get the most out of your car. Indeed, you know, F1 car, no clutch in that, right? At least I don't think so. So this is what it's all, when I say no clutch, I mean there's just two pedals, accelerator, brake, that's all it's used. I guess there's obviously some form of clutch to change gears, right? But anyway, the other problem with the GT4 is quite an upsetting one, really. It is the fact that you're probably never going to own one. I'm never going to own one, more than likely, as are you watching, unfortunately, and you're probably not going to get to drive in one either, more than likely. I appreciate there's a select few people up there on YouTube, you know, much more seasoned motoring journalists who do this for a living, and deservedly so. They get the opportunity to get in these things, but we are probably not. And the big problem herein is the allocation of these cars. Supposedly less than about 40 coming to just the UK. It might be even lower. Most dealerships have an allocation of about 1, 2 at most, and those cars are obviously already spoken to, and they go to Porsche's long-term customers who've spent millions with them over the years. And honestly, that list price of 108,000, it's basically a thank you gift to these customers. It's Porsche saying, here's a car for 108,000 that we know is worth a lot more than that. You can have it, it's yours. We're probably going to see these cars being used quite a bit, but potentially flipped, and I have heard rumours that dealers are already getting offers potentially of 50k, 100k even above list for people to get their hands on these cars. Demand is going to be that high, so there's not going to be that many. This is the last Cayman that is ever being made before it moves to that EV platform, I think around 2025, there or thereabouts. But it's the last Cayman ever being made, and it's going out with a huge bang. What I think we will see though is a lot of Cayman GT4 owners looking to tweak their Cayman GT4s to be more like the RS version, and I'm sure we'll start to see lots of aftermarket options. There's no reason why you can't turn a GT4 into the RS version as much as you possibly want, given budget and willingness to do so. I think the RS is going to really keep the GT4 prices as a whole very high. It's going to keep demand for them at an all-time high, because you've got that hype from the RS version echoing down to the GT4 variant, and I don't think you can go far wrong with getting a GT4, let alone if you're lucky enough to get the RS version, and if you are, congratulations. But the GT4 driving experience is really, really good, especially if you want to explore that mid-engine offering, that mid-engine driving experience. GT4 does it brilliantly, and if you haven't had a mid-engine driving experience yet, please do get out and enjoy it, because having that weight, that center of mass for the car to pivot around really adds to that joy and that driving experience. So do experience it if you haven't already. So I just wanted to discuss the GT4 RS and my thoughts on where the market's going to be and what's happening with it. And yeah, to be frank, it's a very, very exclusive bit of kit, so you're not going to see many around. I did see a GT2, 911 GT2 RS at the last Pistonheads Sunday service, and that was like a worship moment for this car. That's one of my favourite cars of all time. About 350 grand they go for now in the UK, and you know, if you're owning one of those, you're a very lucky person indeed, because again, super exclusive. So GT4 RS is absolutely in the same boat. Anyway, wanted to discuss that with you guys. Hope you're all keeping well. Catch you soon on the next one, and bye for now.